Brie Hall has arrived to Indiana, lads. Brie Hall has arrived. And it would be interesting to see what ends up happening with her. Look, she's not going to make, barring injury, she's not going to make the roster. But let's see this right here. Brie Hall to Indiana right now. And she is there. They have the big welcome Brie Hall. Immediately got a picture. And she in the change room for the jersey? Yeah, she has her own locker. She has her own locker early on. These are, okay, yeah, this is just paper. I was about to say, is this permanent? No, these are just cards to slide in. That's fine. That is fine. Aaliyah Boston's best friend. That's the one reason I'm kind of worried they end up keeping her. But again, Brie Hall's not the worst player in the world. I thought when they were going to stash a player, Brie Hall might have been a player they were going to bring if they were going to take Kosu. But, yeah, it's a... Someone's saying, have your own concern that Howard and Bonner won't be able to run the floor. DeWanna Bonner's only going to play 25 minutes a game, and Natasha Howard, if there's one thing she still can do, it's run the floor. Can she still defend? Not really. Is she foul prone? Yeah. But the one thing she still can do is run the floor. I watched a lot of her in Turkey. But yeah, she should make it. She plays more defense than most on the team. For Brie Hall to make the team, you have to trade Lexi Hull. Boston does not choose the roster. Sides ball days are over. I mean, you're not wrong. They did get rid of Victoria Saxton. I cannot believe they kept Victoria Saxton over Celeste Taylor. Celeste Taylor, the second that Celeste Taylor gets cut by the Fever, she gets signed. And then when the Mercury lose her, she gets signed by the Sun. And when the Sun lose her, she gets signed by the Mercury again. Victoria Saxton is not going to be a WNBA player probably again. And they kept her on the roster over Celeste Taylor. No, Saxon's no longer on the roster. But it would be interesting. It would be interesting to see when it comes to Brie Hall. But, it's interesting now to see that she's here. But as well as that, all the rookies are coming in today, by the way. All the rookies are coming in. It's not just Brie Hall. I saw a post on... Here. I saw this tweet from the Fetty Film Twitter account. Yvonne Ejim in Indiana. You guys can't see it. She is in Indiana. So obviously the players are there. I just think it's crazy that someone would get drafted or signed and it might be the last few days of their career. They moved the roster up to 15. Yeah, I think they said they wanted it to be 16 teams in the league. And they now, with one more team, they now have the teams. They now have the exact amount of teams they've been looking for. So I would assume that it'll be rosters 15 soon. But yeah, Brie Hall is such an interesting one because I actually think I would really if the Fever had the money for Brie Hall, I would love them to keep Brie Hall. They just don't have the money. They really don't have they just don't have the money. She's a good shooter and she's a good defender. But it would involve trading Lexi Hull. And not only trading Lexi Hull, it would involve trading Lexi Hull for nothing. You can't... It would involve giving Lexi Hull away. Because you can't even cut Lexi Hull. The only Sides would have waved Timson by now. Of course she would have waved Timson by now. Sides did not believe in running. Christy Sides would have drafted Sedona Prince. For, slow down big players And if not Sedona Prince, maybe she would have drafted... No Lynn Dunn, she would have drafted Ioka Lee even when she said she didn't want to play basketball anymore. But yeah, it's really an interesting one. And it's good to see, though, with these players. And it's good to see the Fever again. Even players that probably don't make the roster. It's good to see them being treated as well as possible when they're in Indiana, being treated like superstars. Because, as I've said tons of times, it's important to treat these players like superstars because you literally might have to bring them back. You might have to bring them back. When it comes to the Fever, they still have the roster spot for later on in the season to get someone on a part-time contract, to sign someone on a short-term contract. So they have that type of money which they can use. And like when it comes to Brie Hall, unless they do cut Brie Turner, which I don't think that's going to happen. I think Brie Turner has enough in the bank and is like, she's done enough in her career that she's going to start the year. Like she's going to at least start the year with the Fever. They might get rid of her at some stage, but if you are the Fever, keeping players as happy as possible, keeping these rookies as happy as possible is is a good thing, because if Brie Hall starts bouncing from team to team on 10 days, and then we get to like July, and Brie Hall is a player the Fever want to keep, there's a possibility that she's back. And it's not a Celeste Taylor situation where Celeste Taylor sat on the bench and watched Christy Wallace start the entire year, watched her come on and change games when she came on. I know it was a garbage time, but her speed changed games. Her being a perfect teammate for Caitlin Clark and her sitting on the bench. And obviously, the Mercury took her, and there was never a chance that Fever were going to be able to retain a player like that, who I do think, if Celeste Taylor would still be on the team if they just hadn't cut her. So, yeah, it is an interesting one. Thank you, Ben. Keep rushing it. Same to yourself. Good to see. People obviously. It's good to see so many people covering the WNBA, and that's one of the things where it's like, it doesn't really matter if you like the people's opinions or not. It's good to see so many people covering the same topic and giving people's opinions, and obviously that's not directed towards him. I'm not gonna lie, Ben. I've just seen the titles of your videos. I haven't watched any. I'm just making that point there, when it's like, it's good for the WNBA, because if you look at NBA media, there's so much social media, people seeing news, talking about it, and going and creating the news. And it's mad that now in the WNBA, the media's done such a bad job that social media is bigger than the damn media. It's crazy. But it's wild they got Sophie from Alyssa and drafted a better version with the pick they got. I mean, there's no such thing as another version of Alyssa Smith. Alyssa Smith is Alyssa Smith. Like, this season is make or break for Alyssa Smith. If Alyssa Smith has a bad year this year, she might be out of the league. Like, there's only so far potential can get you, and like being a slow down, back down scorer. Like, there's only so far. But I think Michaela Timpson's almost certainly going to make the roster anyway. But it is good to see, again, these rookies still being treated like celebrities, being treated like big players, even if they're not going to make the team, because you never know. Brie Hall is one injury away from making it. So, yeah, that is the video. See you guys.